narrator. Hello, fantastic English learners, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast's beginner series. I'm your narrator, and I'm thrilled you're joining us today. Have you ever met someone new and wanted to know what they do for a living? Asking about someone's job is one of the most common and useful ways to start a conversation and learn about another person's life. It's a key part of small talk, and it helps you understand how people spend their days and what their interests might be. That's why today we're focusing on asking about someone's job in English. Learning the simple questions and phrases to discuss professions will make you feel much more confident in social situations and help you connect with new people. In this episode, you're about to hear a natural and easy-to-follow conversation between two friends, Sarah and Mark. They'll show you how to ask about someone's job, describe their own work simply, and keep the conversation going with polite questions. They'll use simple English, making it easy for you to understand and start talking about jobs. After their conversation, we'll have a short, active practice session to help you use these new words and phrases yourself. Listen closely to their simple English and the useful vocabulary they use. Get ready to expand your vocabulary and practice listening just by tuning in. Let's dive into the conversation. Sarah: Hi Mark. How are you doing today? It's great to see you again. I was just thinking about something personal. We've known each other for a while, but I don't think we've ever really talked about our jobs in detail. I'm always curious about what people do, so what do you do, Mark? What's your job? Mark: Hi Sarah. I'm doing very well, thank you for asking. It's great to see you too. You're right, we haven't really talked about our jobs, and I'm also curious about yours. So, I work as a software developer. I build computer programs and mobile applications. It's a very interesting job because I get to solve problems and create new things every day. I spend a lot of my time writing computer code, which is like giving instructions to a computer. I also work with a team, so we have meetings to discuss our projects and help each other. I've been doing this for about 5 years now. It's mostly office work, sitting at a computer, but sometimes I work from home too. Keeps me busy and challenged. What about you, Sarah? What do you do for work? What's your profession and what is it like on a typical day? Sarah: Oh, a software developer. That sounds incredibly interesting, Mark. Building computer programs and mobile applications must be very creative and challenging. I can imagine that writing computer code is like solving a big puzzle every day, which sounds quite exciting for someone who likes logical thinking. It's great that you work in a team and can help each other. 5 years is a long time, so you must be very good at it now. And working from an office or home gives you some flexibility, which is nice. So, I work as a primary school teacher. I teach young children, usually between the ages of 6 and 8. My job is to help them learn to read, write, and do simple math. I also teach them about the world around them, like science and history, but in a very basic way. My day starts quite early and it's always very active. I don't sit at a computer much. I'm always walking around the classroom talking to the children, explaining things and helping them with their work. It's a very rewarding job because I get to see the children learn and grow every day. But it's also very busy and sometimes a bit noisy. What kind of programs or apps do you usually work on, Mark? Are they for big companies or for individual users? Mark: Wow, a primary school teacher, Sarah. That's a truly important and special job. Teaching young children to read, write, and do math sounds incredibly rewarding. You're helping to build the future, really. I can imagine your days are very active, definitely not sitting at a computer all day like me. And yes, I'm sure it can be noisy sometimes, but seeing children learn and grow must bring a lot of joy. That's a huge positive. For the programs and apps I work on, they are mostly for big companies. For example, I might build software that helps a large bank manage its customer information, or an application that helps a big retail company track its inventory. These are often very complex systems with many different parts. Sometimes, I also work on smaller projects for individual users like a simple mobile game or a productivity tool, but the big company projects are my main focus. What's your favorite part about being a primary school teacher, Sarah? Is it a specific moment in the day or a certain aspect of teaching that you love most? Sarah: That makes a lot of sense, Mark. Building complex software for big companies like banks or retail companies sounds incredibly important and requires a lot of precision. It's clear your work has a huge impact on how these big organizations operate smoothly. And it's interesting that you sometimes work on smaller projects too. My favorite part about being a primary school teacher is definitely seeing the aha moment in a child's eyes. You know, when they finally understand something difficult like a new math concept or a tricky word in reading. That moment when their face lights up with understanding and excitement. It's just priceless. It makes all the busy and noisy parts of the day worth it. I also love their curiosity and their simple questions about the world. It reminds me to look at things with fresh eyes. It's very heartwarming. What do you like most about your job as a software developer, Mark? Is it the problem solving, the creating, or working with your team? Mark, the aha moment, Sarah. That's a wonderful way to describe it, and I can totally imagine how rewarding that must be. It's truly special to see someone grasp a new concept. That's a fantastic favorite part of your job. For me, what I like most about my job as a software developer is the problem-solving aspect. Every day there are new challenges and puzzles to figure out. Sometimes a program has a bug, which means it doesn't work correctly, and I have to find the tiny mistake in thousands of lines of code. It's like being a detective. And when I finally find the solution and fix the problem, it feels incredibly satisfying. I also really enjoy the creative part of building something new from scratch, seeing an idea become a functional application. And yes, working with my team is also a big plus. We celebrate successes together and we help each other when things are difficult. What are some of the challenges you face in your job as a primary school teacher, Sarah? I imagine managing a classroom of young children can have its difficulties. Sarah, problem solving and creating new things. Those are definitely very satisfying aspects of your job, Mark. Being a detective, to find bugs in code sounds like a continuous challenge that keeps your mind sharp, and the satisfaction of finding the solution must be immense. It's great that your team supports each other too. As for challenges in my job, yes, there are a few. One big challenge is managing a classroom with many young children, all with different personalities and needs. Sometimes it can be hard to keep everyone focused at the same time, or to help a child who is struggling while others are ready to move on. Another challenge is dealing with unexpected situations, like if a child gets upset or has a minor accident. You have to be ready for anything and react quickly. And sometimes, it's just simply being tired at the end of the day because it requires a lot of energy. But the rewards always outweigh the challenges. What about the challenges in your job, Mark? Are there difficult parts about being a software developer, maybe with long hours or complex problems that take a lot of time? Mark, I can absolutely see how managing a classroom of young children with all their different needs and energy levels would be a big challenge, Sarah. And dealing with unexpected situations, that requires a lot of quick thinking and patience. Being tired at the end of the day certainly sounds like a common experience for teachers. As for challenges in my job as a software developer, there are definitely a few. One major challenge is dealing with complex problems that take a very long time to solve. Sometimes, a bug or a new feature can take days or even weeks to figure out, and it can be frustrating when you feel stuck. Another challenge is meeting tight deadlines. Clients or managers often want new features or fixes very quickly, and sometimes it means working long hours, especially close to a deadline. And finally, technology changes very fast, so I always have to keep learning new programming languages and tools, which requires constant study even outside of work hours. It's a continuous learning process. Do you think you will always be a primary school teacher, Sarah, or do you have other career goals for the future? Sarah, those challenges sound very real, Mark. I can totally relate to the frustration of a long, difficult problem, even if it's in a different field. And tight deadlines, especially when technology is constantly changing, must add a lot of pressure. It sounds like your job demands a lot of continuous learning, which is a challenge but also keeps things interesting, I suppose. As for me, I love being a primary school teacher, and I definitely see myself doing this for many years. It's my passion. However, I sometimes think about perhaps becoming a school principal one day, or maybe a special education teacher, working specifically with children who need extra help. Those would be different challenges but still focused on helping children. I also sometimes think about writing children's books. But for now, my main focus is on teaching my current class. What about you, Mark? Do you plan to always be a software developer? Or do you have future career aspirations, maybe becoming a manager, or starting your own company? Mark, that's wonderful, Sarah. It's clear that teaching is your true passion, and that's fantastic. Becoming a school principal or a special education teacher sounds like a natural progression, still focused on education but with different responsibilities. And writing children's books. That's a lovely and creative aspiration that fits perfectly with your experience. For me, yes, I plan to continue being a software developer for a long time. I really enjoy the technical work and the problem solving. But like you, I do think about the future. Maybe one day I would like to become a senior software engineer, which means leading a team of developers and working on the most complex parts of a project. Or perhaps even a project manager where I would plan and organize the entire software development process, without doing the actual coding myself. Starting my own software company is also a big dream, but that feels very far away and a bit scary right now. For now, I'm happy learning and growing as a developer. What's a typical workday like for you, Sarah? From when you arrive at school until you leave. Sarah, that sounds like a very clear and ambitious career path for you, Mark. Becoming a senior software engineer or a project manager seems like a natural and challenging next step, allowing you to use your skills in leadership and organization. And starting your own company, though a big dream, is an exciting thought. It's good to have those long-term goals. For my typical workday, it starts quite early. I usually arrive at school around 7:30 a.m. to prepare my classroom, write things on the whiteboard, and organize materials for the day. The children arrive around 8:30 a.m. and then our lessons begin. We have different subjects throughout the day: reading, writing, math, science, and art. We have a short break in the morning and a longer break for lunch. I usually eat lunch with the children. The school day for the children ends around 3 p.m. After they leave, I stay to grade papers, plan lessons for the next day, and sometimes meet with parents or other teachers. I usually leave school around 4:30 p.m. or 5 p.m. So it's a full day, very active and always busy. What's a typical workday like for you, Mark? From when you start writing code until you finish. Mark: Wow, that sounds like a very long and demanding day, Sarah. Arriving at 7:30 a.m. and staying until 5 p.m., with constant activity and responsibility for young children. That's a huge amount of energy you must have. And it's nice that you eat lunch with the children. For my typical workday, it's a bit different. I usually start work around 9 a.m. My first task is always to check emails and see if there are any urgent issues from the night before. Then our team usually has a short daily meeting around 9:30 a.m. to talk about what we did yesterday and what we plan to do today. After that, I spend most of my morning writing code or fixing problems. We usually have a lunch break around 1 p.m. In the afternoon, I continue working on my projects, which often includes more coding, testing the software, or having more meetings with my team or with clients to discuss requirements. I usually finish work around 6 p.m. Sometimes, if there's a big deadline, I might work a little later, maybe until 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., but I try to avoid it. So it's mostly sitting at my desk looking at the computer screen and typing a lot, but it's very focused work. Do you ever work during the weekends, Sarah? Or is your work strictly Monday to Friday? Sarah: Your workday sounds very structured, Mark, with specific times for emails, meetings, and coding. And starting at 9 a.m. and finishing around 6 p.m. is a typical office schedule. I can imagine that sitting and focusing on a computer screen for so many hours requires a lot of mental energy, even if it's not physically active like my job. And working late for deadlines is definitely a challenge that many jobs share. As for weekends, I try very hard not to work during the weekends, Mark. My school schedule is Monday to Friday, and I really value my free time on Saturday and Sunday. However, sometimes I do bring home some papers to grade, or I spend a few hours on Sunday afternoon planning lessons for the next week. It's not usually a full workday, maybe just a few hours here and there to stay on top of things. But I try to keep weekends mostly for rest, family, and my hobbies. It's important to recharge. Do you ever work on weekends, Mark? Or do you manage to keep your Saturdays and Sundays completely free from work? Mark: That's great, Sarah, that you try to keep your weekends mostly free. It's so important to have that time for rest and personal life, even if you sometimes need to do a few hours of work. I completely agree, recharging is essential. For me, I also try very hard not to work on weekends. My goal is to keep Saturdays and Sundays completely free from work, unless there is a very, very urgent problem that needs to be fixed immediately, which happens very rarely. I think it's important to separate work time from personal time to avoid burnout. So yes, usually my weekends are completely free from work, which allows me to focus on my hobbies like playing guitar, gaming, and cycling, as we discussed before. It really helps me feel refreshed for the new week. Do you need any special qualifications or a university degree to become a primary school teacher, Sarah? How did you become a teacher? Sarah: That's excellent, Mark, that you managed to keep your weekends completely free for your hobbies and rest. That's a great example of work-life balance, and it definitely helps prevent burnout, especially in a demanding job like yours. As for becoming a primary school teacher, Yes, you definitely need special qualifications and a university degree. First, I went to university for 4 years to get my bachelor's degree in education. This program taught me a lot about child development, teaching methods, and how to manage a classroom. After that, I had to complete a period of practical training in a real school, working with experienced teachers. And finally, I had to pass some state exams to get my teaching license. So it's a long process of studying and practical experience to become a teacher. It ensures that teachers are well prepared to educate young children. How did you become a software developer, Mark? Did you also go to university for many years, or is there another way to learn your skills? Mark, that's a very clear process, Sarah. 4 years for a bachelor's degree in education, then practical training, and finally state exams. That's a thorough way to prepare teachers. It makes sense that such an important job requires extensive training. For me, to become a software developer, I also went to university. I studied for 4 years and got a bachelor's degree in computer science. This degree taught me about programming languages, how computers work, and how to design software. After university, I started working as a junior developer, and I learned a lot more on the job from experienced colleagues. However, there are also other ways to become a software developer now. Many people learn through online courses called boot camps, which are very intense and teach you coding skills quickly, usually in 3 to 6 months. Some people even learn by themselves, using free online resources and building their own projects. So while university is common, it's not the only path anymore, which is interesting. Do you think you'll teach the same age group of children for your whole career, Sarah? Or would you like to teach older students, or maybe even younger ones in kindergarten? Sarah, that's really interesting, Mark, that there are now so many different paths to becoming a software developer. 4 years for a computer science degree sounds like a solid foundation. But it's great that boot camps and self-learning are also viable options for people who want to enter the field. It shows how much the tech world has changed. As for teaching, I love teaching children between the ages of 6 and 8, so I think I will probably stick with this age group for most of my career. They are at a wonderful age where they are very curious and excited to learn new things, and they are also becoming quite independent. Teaching them to read and write is very rewarding. I'm not sure if I would teach much older students, as that requires different teaching styles. Maybe I would consider teaching slightly younger children in kindergarten, perhaps around age 5, but for now I feel very comfortable and happy with my current age group. What is your favorite part of the software development process, Mark? Is it the very beginning when you're planning, or the coding or testing, or seeing the final product working? Mark, that's a very clear preference, Sarah, and it makes perfect sense. Teaching children aged 6 to 8 sounds like a very special and rewarding time, as they are so curious and eager to learn, and also gaining independence. It's good to find the age group where you feel most comfortable and impactful. For my favorite part of the software development process, I think it's a mix of two things. I really enjoy the problem solving during the coding phase. When I'm writing code and I figure out how to make a complex part of the program work, that's very satisfying. But my absolute favorite part is seeing the final product working correctly. When the new application or feature is finished and users start using it and it solves their problems or makes their lives easier, that feeling is fantastic. It's the result of all the hard work, and it shows that what I created is actually useful. It's very rewarding to see the impact of my work. Do you interact with parents often in your job, Sarah? And how do you communicate with them about their children's progress? Sarah, that makes a lot of sense, Mark. The combination of satisfying problem-solving during coding and the ultimate reward of seeing the final product working and being useful is a great way to describe your favorite parts. It's always wonderful when your hard work has a real, positive impact. Yes, I interact with parents quite often in my job. Communication with parents is very important because we work together to support the children's learning. We have formal parent-teacher meetings 2 or 3 times a year to discuss the child's progress, strengths, and any areas where they might need more help. But we also communicate in simpler ways. I often send email updates to parents, or sometimes I use a school communication app to share photos of classroom activities or send quick messages. Parents can also send messages to me if they have questions. This helps keep parents informed and involved in their child's education. It's a continuous partnership. What kind of environment do you work in, Mark? Is it a big office, a small office, or a mix of home and office? And do you usually work alone or always with your team around you? Mark, that's excellent, Sarah, that you have such regular and varied ways to communicate with parents. Formal meetings, email updates, and a communication app. That's a comprehensive approach to keeping them informed and involved. It definitely sounds like a strong partnership between school and home. For my work environment, it's a mix. Our company has a large open-plan office with many desks, but I also work from home a couple of days a week. When I am in the office, I usually sit with my team in a specific area. We are close to each other, so it's easy to ask questions and discuss things quickly. When I work from home, I have a dedicated desk and computer set up in a quiet room, which helps me focus. I do spend a lot of time working alone on my specific coding tasks, focusing on my screen, but I also have many online meetings and chats with my team throughout the day. So it's a mix of individual work and team collaboration. Is your school a big school or a small school, Sarah? And do you work only with other teachers or with other school staff too, like librarians or nurses? Sarah: that sounds like a very flexible and common work setup, Mark, with a mix of a large open-plan office and working from home. Being close to your team in the office sounds very efficient for quick discussions, and a dedicated home setup is great for focus. The blend of individual coding and online team meetings seems like a typical modern software developer's day. As for my school, it's a medium-sized primary school. We have about 300 children in total from kindergarten to 5th grade. It's not too big, so everyone knows each other quite well, which is nice. And yes, I work not only with other teachers but also with a variety of other school staff. We have a school principal who leads the school, a school secretary who manages the office, and a librarian who helps children find books. We also have special education teachers who work with children who need extra support, and sometimes a school nurse for health issues. So it's a whole team of people working together to make the school run smoothly. It's a very collaborative environment. Do you think you'll work for the same company for a long time, Mark, or do software developers often change companies? Mark: that's a great description of your school, Sarah. A medium size sounds ideal for a close-knit community where everyone knows each other. And it's clear you have a diverse team, from the principal and secretary to specialist teachers and a nurse. It truly takes a village to run a school well. Sounds like a very supportive and collaborative environment. As for working for the same company, it's a good question. In the software development world, it's quite common for developers to change companies every few years. This is because new companies often offer new challenges, new technologies to learn, and sometimes better salaries. So many developers move around to gain different experiences and grow their careers. However, some developers find a company they really love and stay there for a very long time. For me, I've been with my current company for 5 years, which is quite long in this industry. I'm happy here right now because I like my team and the projects are interesting. But I'm always open to new opportunities in the future. What is your favorite subject to teach, Sarah? Is it reading, math, or something else that you particularly enjoy explaining to the children? Sarah: that's very insightful, Mark. It makes perfect sense that software developers often change companies for new challenges and growth, given how fast the technology industry moves. 5 years at one company is indeed quite long by those standards, which speaks well of your current workplace. It's good that you're open to new opportunities while appreciating your current team and projects. As for my favorite subject to teach, that's a great question. I enjoy teaching all subjects, but my absolute favorite is reading. I love introducing children to new stories and seeing their excitement as they learn to recognize words and understand sentences. It's magical to watch them become independent readers. It opens up a whole new world for them, and it's a skill they will use for the rest of their lives. We read many storybooks in class, and I love seeing them choose their own books from the school library. It's incredibly rewarding. Do you have a favorite part of the day at work, Mark? Maybe a certain meeting or a time when you feel most productive. Mark: that's beautiful, Sarah. Teaching reading must truly be magical, seeing a child's eyes light up as they unlock new worlds through stories. It's easy to see why that's your favorite. It's a fundamental skill you're giving them for life. That's a fantastic favorite subject. For me, my favorite part of the day at work is usually the morning before lunch from about 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is when I feel most productive and focused. I like to tackle the most difficult coding problems during this time, because my mind is fresh and I have fewer distractions. It's a quiet time for deep work. I also enjoy our short daily team meeting in the morning. It's a good way to connect with everyone and plan the day. Do you have a favorite time of day at school, Sarah? Maybe when the children are most engaged, or a specific activity you enjoy. Sarah: that makes a lot of sense, Mark. The morning before lunch is often when people are most productive and focused, especially for deep work like coding. It's great that you use that time for your most challenging tasks. And the daily team meeting for quick connection is also very valuable. For me, my favorite time of day at school is usually right after our morning break, around 10:30 a.m. The children have had some time to play and get their energy out, so they come back to the classroom refreshed and ready to learn. They are usually very engaged and focused during this time, which is perfect for our main lessons like reading or math. It's when I feel they are most receptive to new information, and we can have some really productive learning sessions. Do you have any advice for someone who wants to become a software developer, Mark? Mark, that's a great point, Sarah. The energy after a break can indeed be very productive for learning. It's smart to plan your main lessons when the children are most receptive. That sounds like a very efficient and enjoyable time for teaching. As for advice for someone who wants to become a software developer, I have a few key tips. First, start learning a programming language like Python or JavaScript. There are many free online resources to help you. Second, build small projects yourself. Don't just read about coding, actually do it. Build a simple website, a small game, or a basic app. This helps you understand how things work in practice. Third, don't be afraid to ask questions and learn from others. The software community is very helpful. And finally, be patient and persistent. Learning to code takes time and effort, but it's very rewarding. Do you have any advice for someone who wants to become a primary school teacher, Sarah? Sarah, that's fantastic advice, Mark. Learning a language, building projects, asking questions, and being patient. Those are all very practical and encouraging tips for aspiring software developers. It's clear that hands-on experience and persistence are key. As for advice for someone who wants to become a primary school teacher, I also have a few important tips. First, love children and be patient. Teaching young children requires a lot of understanding and patience. Second, be creative and flexible. Every day is different, and you need to find fun ways to teach and be ready for unexpected situations. Third, be organized. You manage many students, lessons, and papers, so organization is very important. Fourth, be a good listener. Listen to the children, but also to their parents and other teachers. And finally, be passionate about learning yourself. You are helping children learn, so you should love learning too. It's a challenging but incredibly fulfilling career. It's been really great talking about our jobs today, Mark. I've learned so much about software development in your work. Mark, that's wonderful advice, Sarah. Love and patience for children, creativity, organization, listening skills, and a passion for learning. These are truly essential qualities for a great teacher. It's clear your dedication makes a huge difference in children's lives. It's been incredibly interesting chatting with you about our jobs too. I've learned so much about what a primary school teacher does, your daily life, and the rewards and challenges you face. It helps me understand your world much better. Sarah, yes, it has, Mark. It's always fascinating to hear about different professions and what goes into them. Our jobs are so different, but both are about solving problems and helping people in different ways. Mark, definitely. Well, it was really nice talking to you about our jobs. I should probably get going now. I have another meeting starting soon. I don't want to be late. Sarah, of course, Mark. I understand perfectly. I hope your meeting goes well. It was really nice catching up with you and learning so much about your world. Have a great rest of your day. Mark, you too, Sarah. Enjoy your teaching. See you around soon. Sarah, see you, Mark. Practice session. Your turn to speak. Narrator. All right, it's your turn to practice. I'll ask you a question about jobs just like Sarah and Mark did. Listen to my question, then say your answer aloud. Try to use the new phrases you heard today. What do you do? Good. Now, what do you like about your job? Excellent. One more. Do you work in an office? Narrator, fantastic work. Now just quickly repeat these two important phrases after me. I'm a teacher. I work in an office. Narrator, you're doing great. Keep practicing asking about someone's job in English. Conclusion. Narrator, wow, you've done an incredible job today. You just practiced talking about a very common and essential topic. Asking about someone's job in English. You can now confidently ask what someone does, describe your own work simply, and even discuss daily tasks and work environments. This is a fantastic step in your English journey. Remember to use these new phrases every day. The next time you meet someone new, try to ask about their job and share a little about your own. Every time you practice, you're building real confidence step by wonderful step. Keep learning, keep speaking. Don't miss our next lesson in the beginner series. Goodbye for now.